problem is a challenge. Challenge is an opportunity. And it's just the opportunity to be better.
To grow.
Yeah. Every challenge is an opportunity to work on yourself, work on your system, work on anything to be better. Hi, welcome to Patta Empires. My name is Patta. I'm the immigrant, a restaurant owner, a mother, wife, and the Empress. I didn't always feel this way. I was so lost in the past. This podcast will show you how I built and continue to build my empires. If you ever feel lost but you know you're meant for more, I'm here to show you the outlook and skill for you to build your own empires.
Hey guys, it's Katie Camberg. I'm joining Patta on her podcast today. Welcome.
Patta is here.
Yeah, hello. We're in her empire. Have you guys been watching it build? So I recently got to meet a bunch of her team members. I went to each one of her buildings. She's got 4, 2 in Seaside and 2 in Astoria, and I got to meet the people that make the show work so well together. I feel like you have an excellent team. How do you find people that are going to fit well within your company? What are your kind of values that you look for in a team?
So, before, as of today, December 17, 2021, I think I can't even count, how many people I have in the company because, some of them come and goes. But I would say I have about 45 to 50 people under the companies. And I work way easier when I was having 10, 15 employees. And by saying that, if you see my great team at today, I have a very hard time with employees.
Did it take you a while to find the right ones? I know you have Casey that's been around for a while. Who else have been working with
Casey worked with me about almost 4 years. I have another one, Benny, worked for me over 3 years. I have Carla work for me about 3 years. All of those people, but I have gone through a lot of people until the day that I have to understand this word, core values.
What are the core values?
So the core values is some things that you put up. It's going to be some kind of words that you put up from. It's not just meaning people that you are looking for, but it's how we represent the company. So my core value is consistency, transparency, accountability, result-oriented, and integrity. So I use these 5 words in every single thing we do in the business. It's not just looking for people, but we use that very strongly to hire or fire people. So we're gonna hire people, either they have these 5: consistency, transparency, accountability, result-oriented, and integrity, or we see a possibilities to develop it on them. But we talk about core value every day. We remind people about core value every day, and we represent it very well. For me, consistency, that's gonna be the words that I would clarify to other people.
So if I'm showing up late, are you liking that?
Well, showing up late is
and then blaming
accountability.
But what if I'm blaming somebody else?
Yeah, that's accountability.
You'd keep me on?
No.
Just
but
kidding.
I'm gonna have a talk with you first. Before I'm gonna fire you, by the time I fire you,
you'll give me another chance to grow that 1%, that 2%, hopefully, and let you know.
So for me, consistency is for you to be consistency getting better every day. It's not the same every day. So if you do the same, you will never get different results. So consistency is consistency improving, consistency getting better, consistency stay humble, consistency being on time, consistency not to bullshit.
And then those are things that you yourself, because you talked about in your last podcast that you don't expect other people to do something that you wouldn't. So you hold yourself to those same standards.
So like consistency, transparency, accountability, result oriented, and integrity is everything that we do,
and no bullshit.
And everything that I represent. So by saying that, if you are late, I'm gonna do the talk with you. Another thing I like to do is I like to hear what people. I like to talk with employee about their goals, like personal, professional, and financial. So let's say, Katie, what is your 1 year personal goals?
Oh man, it's really hard for me to think 1 year out in the future.
You have to think of something.
I know. So I would say that build my credit up, because in the past I haven't built my credit up.
That's the financial
Yep,
goals.
being
So we have personal, professional, financial.
personal. Personally, build my store up as much as possible, which has been moving really quickly. Get more employees in there. That way I can help take care of other people, and then I can go out and do other things. Travel with my family a little bit. I've been working a lot for a while, so getting them and taking them out to do some fun adventures would be on my list.
So like this is one thing I like to do when I build my teams. This is my secret. So I know that Katie likes to spend more time with their family, building her business, and as a owner, or as a boss or supervisor, whatever you want to call, you want to support them in every way to achieve their goals. So I'm in the restaurant business, and if I have employee that want to open their own restaurant in one day, this is what I'm gonna be. If you want to own your restaurant in one day, what you want to do today is to learn everything and to do the best you can in this job, and this gonna support you in the future. And if Katie ever be late, I'm gonna talk to her like, what happened? What's going on with you? Why are you recently being late? And she's gonna be like, because of this, because of that. Oh, my kid doesn't wake up. I have to go drop my kid. I have to do this. I need to do that. So my conversation to going to be, but your long-term goal is you want to spend more time for your kid. You want to build your own store and stuff like that. In order for you to get to that, you need to do a great job here. Do whatever it takes to keep your job and make money so one day you can open your own business. And that's some kind of conversation I'm gonna have with employee. I'm not gonna come to them and was like, why are you late? I never like, why is the question that you should never ask, because like when you start asking why, people gonna be like, come up with 1,000 of excuse. You can just talk to them about like, hey, remind them their goals, talk about the core value of the company. It's like we want the consistency. Like consistency is our priorities. If people was drinking after job, it's like integrities. This is our core values. Like do the right thing when even though no one see you. Or like people are mess up something and then they start to tell like that is somebody else fault. It's like,
and we all make mistakes, so taking that accountability, you understand that mistakes happen, but owning up to it, owning it and doing better.
Another big things, like after we talk about consistency of being better and better and better every day, and then accountability is a big thing. You own it, you do it, or whatever, you own it, make sure it's yours. And integrity is like, I think the human being, you need to be,
Stand
do
for
the right
something.
thing, like always do the right things, like on top of not bullshit is to do the right thing. If you make sure like you always do the right thing, there's nothing gonna come after you. Like people gonna come after you no matter what you do in life, but
it's better to be able to stand behind what you say and what you do.
I'm not always do the right thing 100%. Like there's something that I don't know what I don't know, and if people say no, you was wrong. Yeah, thank you. How do I fix that? And then the next thing, say, how do I fix that? Transparency. That's a lot of question people asking me, like, why is transparency? First of all, transparency is the main concept of we have as a like open kitchen. So I try to have an open kitchen as much as possible, and customer could see how the food being processed, how they're gonna see how we not bullshit.
And when you do the right thing, you have nothing to hide.
Yeah,
So you
when we
can
do
be
the right thing, we have nothing.
transparent.
And then people got to entertain to see how the cook making the food, right? So
Which is fun too, by
and
the way.
it's not just not just how we have open kitchen is the transparency concept, but transparency is also basically like to be open, to tell people what you think, to not bullshit.
I just watched some of the cooks make some food. By the way, we went back over to Tie Me Up in Seaside, and it's fun watching them make it. They're moving the pans.
We talk
around
about making a fresh food. We use the fresh ingredient, and it needs to be able to see that we transparent to the customer, and I'm transparency to myself. I'm transparency to my team, and it's all about transparency. Like I have one person ask me when I try to put a transparency on my core values, and I have one worker ask me like how much you could be transparency, and I was like, I don't know. At least I'm trying.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah, at least I'm trying. At least I'm trying to be transparency, and that's my intention. Last things, and it's the big thing that make me become who I am today or coming this far, is the result oriented. I say this all the time. If you I would see this is a problem, and you stuck with the problem, complaining, talking about that all day long.
What's getting done?
Exactly. So I would say problem is an opportunity. No, problem is a challenge. Challenge is an opportunity, and it's just the opportunity to be better.
To grow.
Yeah, every challenge is an opportunity to work on yourself, work on your system, work on anything to be better. And I always you would see people are, how successful people are solving problem. How Mark Zuckerberg creating Facebooks.
It's the biggest community in the world.
Exactly.
I mean, billions,
it's just there's a problem there.
There's lots of problems constantly.
I know. And then it was what? Amazon. There's a problem there. And to solving other problem, that's an opportunities. And then somebody was telling me this long time ago, is just the more problem you solve for other people, the more money you're gonna have.
It's true.
Yeah, and it's just not about having the money, but it's all about what you could do to impact.
The more people you can help too.
Yep. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Patta's Empires. I hope you find it beneficial. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out the next episodes. And stay in touch with Patta's Empire in other platforms. Don't forget, stay humble, stay hungry.